Barry Melrose with Armen Levack joining us in between Sports Centers now. Some cool stuff, Barry. Greatly appreciate your time as always. And look, the Penguins are riddled with injuries, aren't supposed to be this offensively high-powered team, but they had a 3-goal explosion on Saturday night to beat the Rangers 4-3. How concerned should the Rangers be after that Game 2 loss, Barry?
Very concerned. Pittsburgh's outplayed them now for 5 out of 6 periods, and if it weren't for the Pittsburgh bad penalties, the series might be 2-0 for Pittsburgh right now. So they got to have a pushback. The Rangers got to go into Pittsburgh, and they got to push back, and they got to become that team that won the President's Trophy again. Pittsburgh's taking their speed away. The Ranger power play looks terrible. Rangers offensive players aren't getting any chances. And the craziest thing is Marc-Andre Fleury is outplaying Henrik Lundqvist in net. So Rangers got to, this is their big gut test for the New York Rangers. And, Pittsburgh is beat up. They got a lot of injuries, but they've really pulled together and are playing hard. So Rangers got to go into Pittsburgh and take command of the series again.
It's not panic button time for the Rangers yet, though, is it?
No, of course not. It's 1-1. Pittsburgh's job was to go in and win one game in New York. That's fine. Now New York's job is to go in and win one game in Pittsburgh. If they do that, then it's best of 3 with 2 games in New York. So, but it's not panic time, but it should be heightened anxiety time if you're a New York Rangers. They got to have an emotional game here and outplay Pittsburgh from the start of the game to the end of the game.
And regardless on the seed, you 100% sound like that Pittsburgh, like you have enough confidence to say that Pittsburgh has what it takes to pull off the upset.
Every team has what it takes to pull off the upset. You look at Ottawa, a team that had, was way behind the Montreal Canadiens. They've lost 2 games in overtime. That series could be 2-1 for Ottawa right now. So if you make the playoffs in the NHL, you're a heck of a hockey team. And you can beat anybody. And if the Rangers don't match the intensity of Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh could win this series.
Sidney Crosby only had 1 goal in his last 19 playoff games before two goals on Saturday. If he gets clicking, it makes it even that much more difficult, doesn't it?
Well, then all of a sudden you've got a monster on the loose, and then Malkin will get fired up. He'll get excited, and all of a sudden you got those 2 guys playing, and Kunitz is starting to play better. He's been getting better every game. Brandon Sutter has become a force for Pittsburgh. I thought he was, next to Crosby, was the best player in the ice in Game 2. And again, it goes back to Fleury. Here's a guy that has had trouble in the playoffs the last 4 or 5 years, and he's all playing Henrik Lundqvist. So, the right things are happening for Pittsburgh. It's up to the Rangers to take that emotional success Pittsburgh had and ram it down their throat and take control of the series.
Now, what's changed for the Rangers from the end of the regular season to now? I mean, President Cup winning team to now, emotionally, they don't seem as invested as they were.
Well, yeah, they're being outworked. I don't know whether they took Pittsburgh lightly or what, but Pittsburgh gave them 5 straight. They had 5 power plays. If they would have scored in one of those power plays, the game was over in Game 2, and they didn't score. They scored on the 6th power play to make it a game. But if they scored in one of the first 5 they had, that would have put Pittsburgh away. But they didn't. Their power play hasn't been very good. Nash has to put the puck in the net. Zuccarello has to put the puck in the net. San Luis has to put the puck in the net. Broussard's having a good playoffs. Defensively, they have to shut down Crosby and company, but they're not as intense as they were, and they got to get that back because right now they're being outworked by Pittsburgh, and if you don't match the work ethic of your opponents in the NHL playoffs, you're going to get beat.
Barry Melrose with Armen Levack on 104.5 The Team. Barry, you mentioned the power play a bugaboo for the Rangers. When you watch it, what's wrong with it? How do they fix it?
Well, when on the 6th power play when they scored, they zipped it around. They were intense. They won loose puck battles, got good looks, and Broussard had a wide open net and shot it in. You don't see that intensity the previous power plays. They got to get that. They got to get that back. The power play is only good if you outwork the penalty killers against you, and because then you have an extra man, and that's why you have a successful power play. But again, I get back to work ethic, and the Rangers are being outworked by the Pittsburgh Penguins. They're being outwanted by the Pittsburgh Penguins. And hockey's a game of emotion. We have systems and we have places to be, but every team has that. 99 times out of 100 comes down to which team wants it the most. And in Game 2, it looked to me like Pittsburgh wanted it the most.
Staying in New York, the Islanders taking the 2-1 lead over the Capitals. John Tavares, fastest goal in New York Islanders OT since 1993. What makes this guy just so special?
Oh, he's one of those special guys. He's like a Crosby. He's like an Ovechkin. He might win the MVP this year. He almost won the scoring race. He was a first pick overall, so it's not like this guy's a surprise. You knew he was a great talent, but he's just growing and growing, got better and better, became a leader. And, he's one of those guys that when the Islanders need something good to happen, he's usually in the middle of it. So the Islanders are playing great. That was a great game yesterday, well-played game. Their game plan against Ovechkin's very good. Johnny Boychuk was fantastic. Halak was great. Pozo had a very strong game, I thought. And then, when there was a breakdown, Johnny T was there to put it in the net. So the Islanders are for real. They got a heck of a hockey.
Barry, should Tavares be the MVP?
He certainly is in the running. It's hard not to give it to Carey Price.
Yeah.
What about Ovechkin? Wins the scoring race by 12 goals. You can give it to Johnny Taves every year. But certainly Tavares is in the running and is in the conversation for any MVP talk.
Barry Melrose with Armen Levack on 104.5 The Team. Barry, it's the last postseason at Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum. How much does that weigh on a team when they have one last time to win this thing in Long Island?
You know what? Not a lot. I think it's a great building. A lot of history. It's not a great building. What I mean, there's a lot of history in it. For guys like me, it means a lot because I played against the Islanders during those years when they were great, and I saw that building rocking, and I saw the Stanley Cup being carried around in that building. But these young guys, when they go on the road and they see all these other beautiful buildings and all these other cities, it makes Nassau look pretty shabby. I don't really, none of these guys were really even born when the Islanders are winning Stanley Cups in the 80s. So, it's their home, but I think the young guys, will be happy to move into a new building with ultra-modern dressing rooms and beautiful sight lines and a nice ice and a nice bright building. Guys like me that, know the history of the building, certainly I'm sad to see it gone, but I'm also happy to see one last playoffs in it before it's torn down.
Barry, guy like me in New York, so focused Rangers, Islanders. I tend to miss some things out west. What's the most impressive team out west right now?
Well, the Ducks are because they're two up on the Winnipeg Jets, which has been a great series. But the series to watch is the Calgary-Vancouver series. I said last night, this series is like Game of Thrones without the girls. This thing is crazy. It's hacking and whacking, hitting, cross-checking and fighting and swearing, pushing and shoving and face wash after face wash. It is a dirty, in-your-face series, man, and it's just getting better and better. So that is a series. If you want to watch one series and you just want to see a bit vicious hockey, you watch the Calgary-Vancouver series. Barry,
as we watch the postseason here, what's your pick for the finals and the winner of the finals?
I picked Chicago to come out of the West. They had a big win against Nashville, and I picked the Rangers to come out of the East. I think the Rangers will push back tonight. I think they will win this game and win the series. And this will be good for the Rangers in the long run, being tested by the Pittsburgh Penguins like this.
Barry Melrose, your suit game has been as impressive as always,
God.
My friend. Do you have a rotation? Do you categorize them, or do you just go with
I wake up in the morning, look in the closet, and decide that I got to go with something totally different from the day before. So that's sort of my suit picking route. Theory.
That's even more impressive, man. Just going with the gut.
Skills.
That's
Straight
awesome.
skills.
Straight skills. And Barry, we look forward to your coverage throughout the postseason and then seeing you at the track this summer, my friend.
Take care, boys. Hopefully I'll have a little bit more luck this summer than I had last summer.
We all say that.